I was upstairs listening to my Will Smith CD. Just pretend this movie didn't fucking happen. It's fucking trash. What's up, kings, queens, everyone in between? We're back for another campfire story. Thought tonight I'd do a little something different because normally I do movies, and the idea behind the campfire stories kind of started in my office, where I work. I started Fast and the Furious. I started telling the story to somebody that never seen it, and somebody was like, "Hey, you should record that." So that was kind of the history of how this started because I just kind of have a good recall for media and weird things like that. So people were like, "Yeah, you should do that. Tell stories, do that." But thought I'd expand and actually tell a real story that happened to me, a true story. So this happened to me on a New Year's Eve several years ago. I don't remember the exact year. I was living in my old house, where you actually saw some of the first videos I filmed were filmed there. Recently I moved. I got that in the last video a little bit. But, figured this was a fun story. I still tell this story to people, whenever I get the chance. My fiance hates it because it involves my ex-girlfriend, but I'm going to take that hit and have her yell at me later telling this story because I think you guys should hear it. So I'm going to start out. That was a few years ago, decided to have a New Year's Eve party at my house. The idea being, let's just get the people that I actually like at my house, just my close friends, people I actually cared about. Got them at my house and said, look, let's not be amateurs. Let's not go to the bar. Let's not go out. That's where the cops are going to get you. We're at my house. We're drinking. I'm drinking stupid. I'm drinking half and half of 151 and 7-Up. I'm just taking a cup, pouring it, bam, and I'm just downing it. Playing various drinking games, card games. I don't really remember the games, but a lot of the friends I had were poker players, card players. So of course, card games were just going to come out when we're drinking. So, a couple hours go by. Now we're all feeling pretty good. And the smokers all say, okay, we're going to go outside and go smoke. I don't want people to smoke in my house. I don't smoke. I don't care if you smoke, but not my house. They're outside. Somebody comes back in, and they'll talk about my girlfriend, and we'll just call her the devil for this. As I stated, she was my ex-girlfriend. Is my ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend. But anyways, my boy Vito walks in. He goes, "Hey, you can go check on the devil outside." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on, man? I mean, it's fine, right? Like, no, you just need to go." Okay, Vito. I mean, you and my boy Justin are both out there. Okay, but fine. So I go out there, my boy Justin, he's already there. And just a little aside, if you're ever privileged enough to have a really close friend that has the same first name as you, it's so awesome. Because I can make so many jokes to Justin about his wife calling my name out in the middle of the night. And it's not even a lie. I did that to him one time. I was like, hey, your wife's going to be calling my name tonight. And he got mad for a second, and then he thought about it. He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. So Justin's out there. He's with Carol. Two girls come up. They were at the house that was not next door. There's another house that's on the corner. So the way my house was, it was my house, another house, and then the corner or the intersection of the street, the next street. And they're like, just their mouths are flying a million miles a minute. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. What's going on? And they're like, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. Well, who's got a gun? Well, as they're talking, a shotgun pops off. And we're like, oh, okay, now we know who's got a gun. Basically the guy with the shotgun. So we drop everything. We call the police, what we're supposed to do, right? So we're waiting on the cops. I call my little brother. He was out. He lived with me at the time, but he was out. I didn't have a gun at the time. I said, hey, man, where's your gun? Just in case this dude popping off a shotgun, walks over here because these girls came over here. So I've got my brother's gun just in case. Nothing happens, don't worry. I put the gun up. The cops show up. Cops, they're getting our side of the story. They're like, what happened? And we're telling them. Now, remember, I'm drunk. I've been drinking 151 and 7 Up the whole time. And the cops, they're getting our story, and we're like, yeah, we were talking, blah, blah, blah. Now, as I'm talking to these cops, their hands are already on their hips. They've already, like they had like the fastened holsters. They already unsnapped the holster and kind of had their hands on their guns just in case, something pops up. And, so there's two of them that came in one car. The minute we tell them shotgun goes off, these two cops, they just both, it's just bam. It's just like perfect unison. Guns go back, down in the holster, pop the Velcro off. They go back in their car. They grab like their assault rifle. Now there's two of them. So now they're calling for backup. Two more cop cars show up. By this point, there's a total of 5 cars there. Or, sorry, 5 cops there, not 5 cars. 3 cars, 5 cops. And, and now at this point, they're kind of like starting to do their whole thing. They're trying to surround this house. Everything's going on. The devil is like trying to tell us what to do. And we're like, oh, who the fuck are you? Like, and I realize I shouldn't be talking about this way to my girlfriend, but I'm drunk, and I'm like, you're the fucking devil. Like, you can't, So she used to be in the Air Force. Well, she was in Air Force Reserve. So she's like trying to coordinate us. I'm like, what? Like we shouldn't be laughing at her, but we are. We're making fun of her as this is going on. The cops are all circling. We're like, oh shit, what's happening? What's happening? Now my boy Lou, he's there. Lou's the big guy. Like I'm big. Lou's big. Like I tell Lou, I go, hey Lou, can you stand right here? And he's like, what? Just stand in front of me. He's like, what happens if this goes off? I just need a shield. He's like, oh man, that's fucked up. I know, but you're my boy. So that's kind of going. Now at this point, the cops they're still just trying to get around. They're yelling at him like, get on the ground, Now the two girls that have come over, they're sitting here like they're freaking out. They're oh god, everybody's gonna die. One of them's like, my sister's over there. Drunk me decides to look at her and go, yeah, she's dead. So I'm and Justin and Lou, they grab me. They're like, JJ, you can't say that. I'm like, oh, my bad. I think she's okay. So the cops, they do their whole thing. They wind up arresting the guy, and now it turns into a whole cluster F while they're trying to arrest this guy. Because the girl that was her sister, they weren't really sisters, they were just really, like that kind of like, oh, we're just really close friends. Like, but they weren't really sisters. But anyways, while that whole thing is going, they're trying to arrest the guy. She's trying to open the cop car to let him out. Like, she's so just out of her mind, like drunk as well. She's trying to let the guy out of the car. And of course, cops, there's 5 cops going on trying to deal with this. I found out later there was like somewhere across town, 2 other cars had started shooting at each other, and they only had like 1 cop car available to go deal with that because all the other cops that were on duty came to my house because I lived in Hicksville, Texas. I mean, there's really not a lot usually going on, or that needs a lot of police presence. So like all these police came to my house first because we were the first ones to call. So finally, they get it all sorted out. The cop shows up. He's coming to get our statements. Now he comes into my house. We've got alcohol everywhere, and we're like Justin's wife Amanda looks at the cops. She's like, "Look, we've got alcohol, but nobody that's underage has been drinking. We're all of age. Is that okay?" Of course, the cop's like, "Look, I'm not here for that. Whatever. As long as everybody's good." And because the 2 girls that had come over, they actually turned out to be underage. Like they weren't 21. They were, freaking out. They came over, and so they're in our house where we have alcohol everywhere. And we just want to make sure, like, what, we didn't have anything to do with this. We just called you because the gun's going off. So the cop starts taking our statements, and he's like, "Okay, so tell me what happened." Now I want to point out, I live in a 1-story house. Even now I still live in a 1-story house, not a 2-story. But I look at this cop, and if anybody ever remembers the Eminem music video for I forgot it. Well, not Eminem. Sorry, it's Dr. Dre's music video with Eminem. Forgot about Dre. I look at the cop and I was like, I was upstairs listening to my Will Smith CD. Cop writes it down. Okay. And then Justin, he quotes Bad Boys too. He goes, I was at a family barbecue. Cop, just in the middle of this, just goes, family barbecue. He's writing all this down. He can't believe that these drunken idiots are sitting there telling him, like, oh, you know, this is his statement. You know, they wind up, they get our statement. You know, they wind up taking the guy off. The guy's girlfriend comes into my house. She's wanting alcohol. Like, and we're like, we don't know you. Like, you're not getting alcohol here. So she throws a hissy fit and tries to start a fight with me. And I'm like, you're in my house. You can get the F out. So Vito and his wife, Melissa, they take her home. Actually, and the end of the story was the reason I thought it was really important to point out that the girls were underage and all of that was when the cops showed up, they went to my guest bathroom and stuffed like a really cheap bottle of vodka. So in all of that hullabaloo, they still managed to come over with a bottle of vodka and go hide that before the police found out they had vodka. But that was my New Year's Eve story. I just like that part where I get to tell about the Will Smith CD and the family barbecue. People always tend to laugh at that part. So I hope you enjoyed this little detour from our normal stuff into one of my real stories. Anyways, have a good night. If you liked the video, like, subscribe. Hope I see you again.